What's up, everyone? This is the Godfather Dictator.
I'm Sarah from 17.
Welcome back to Chapter 7 of my Master Ninja No Damage Run. Now we head into, well, you can call it a military chapter, we'll say. A bit different. A lot of guns.
Definitely.
A lot of those turret enemy, actually.
Interesting. You're using the same outfit. What happened?
You know what happened?
Did you forget?
It's because I was playing consecutive. You know,
Oh, okay.
I started playing, and I noticed that I forgot along the way, and I know also how much you love that costume too. So,
Well, you know what this means, right? You're gonna have to do it all again. This is not acceptable.
now I have to redo it from chapter.
The whole thing, yeah, it's invalid now. Delete, restore, retry.
Oh my god! But I'm gonna change the costume during that chapter. It's really when I do it consecutive. And I started probably from, chapter 6 straight up, that I just forgot to change it.
So did you find that this spot towards the front of the ship here was the easiest place to hit all the turrets without reprisal?
Yeah, it is the perfect
Because
spot.
some people use the metal sheets, don't they, and shoot through the gaps.
Yeah.
And kind of camera trick it like this.
Which is what I do against those guys here, actually. And surprisingly enough, I haven't seen much run that they do that, but my aim here is so on point that they actually don't manage to get close to me, so that I don't have to use the sight or anything in the long run.
These are such an interesting enemy, these.
What do you think about
They look
them?
like something out of Quake.
Shit, or...
You see, I am tempted to say that I don't like them, but the truth here is that I don't know them enough. For me, these are an enemy that I just either spam the bow or spam the standard UTs against. I've never tried to fight them. And when I go back to NG2, that's the type of stuff I'll probably experiment with. So how did you find them?
Well, how did I find them, if you want, when I tried to actually fight them head on? Okay, a couple of things that I noticed, because they're a mechanical enemy. And it's one, unless I could be wrong again, it's from the little bit of that I practice against them and I tested. I don't think you can delimb those guys. So that's one interesting thing. I think you can...
You can get rid of the cannons, right? You can get rid of the shoulder-mounted turret pods.
You can get rid of, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can delimb and go for LT though. That's really possible. Again, I know...
Because I think you can. I don't want to say you definitely can, because as I mentioned, all I remember about those enemies is that the Tomfas shit on them, and that they stun lock you with their guns if you let them.
Yeah, so that's why I think a little both. I think you may be able to, and I think you might not. It's like, I haven't done enough tests, and there's someone that's gonna say it in the comment, guaranteed.
Somebody inevitably.
Somebody's gonna say, no, you can delimb them, and that's all right. Again, that's why I'm not pronouncing myself on that. I haven't tested enough those guys, but overall, I feel that unless you're fighting multiple of them at the same time, which obviously they can, spam their machine gun, their cannon at different time, which can be annoying for the timing. But overall, I would say that they're pretty fair. Because if you, for example, fight them and you're blocking, you can block their entire volley, no problem, which is something that is nice. They don't have a move that's guard break. Did you see here the whiff OT?
Yeah, the whiff OT again.
That's one of those examples.
And this level's designed for the scythe because it shreds the TAC ninjas.
Oh my god, yeah. It is, and those OT, when they land and all, they're very satisfying because the scythe is a huge weapon.
Can you name another game that does animations like this game does?
That
They're so
visceral
sublime for their time.
Nah, I don't know, dude. It's something else, the combat in this one.
They really did hit something beautiful.
Yeah. It's actually the aspect that makes me love this game, a little bit.
But it's just like what Itagaki said, isn't it? Sometimes it's okay for something to be a little unbalanced if it's beautiful, and there are times when this game is really beautiful, and it is always unbalanced.
Yeah, but it's exactly, I agree with what you just said. The only thing that I disagree with is little unbalanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay when things are a little unbalanced, but in here they're way too unbalanced on a lot of aspects. So in that case, I don't think it's okay. But yeah, if certain...
And I disagree with that statement as well. I get why he's saying it, and I think it's super Itagaki-esque. But for me, I think there is absolutely no excuse for a lack of conscious balance.
Yeah, of fairness and all of that. Yeah, it's for it
Because
to.
for whatever reason, it's a standard I come back to every single time. And if I made a game, I would kill myself trying to make it as balanced as I could. And I do think that there are certain times where it's necessary to perhaps be a little unbalanced, but even in those moments, I still want it to be able for a good player to use his skills to circumvent the challenge.
What you would want is a certain consistency in the way that it's done, like that you would have something reliable to get rid of certain enemy and all of that while being hard at the same time. By the way, this fight here,
Big boys.
it's one of the really hard fight in this chapter. But not only for the robot. Yeah, the robot is really annoying, but I already.
Is it the guns? Because the
it's their gun.
So
yes,
annoying,
it's their gun. The hitbox for that, and you see that I whiff OT there, and after I did manage to connect, it was really odd. But their gun, their machine gun, is extremely annoying, and it's really easy to hit you. Which is why what I end up using is that. I end up going for the FS Izuna drop.
That was a whiff.
That was a whiff
Second
there.
whiff.
Second whiff. Yeah. The positioning and all. You see the panicking, and also it's because I gotta recover on frame down to make sure that I don't get hit from a non-landing. So I have to do something.
Yeah.
I have no
You can always
choice.
spot those whiffs because there's absolutely no reason ever to
To
do
do
a
that.
jumping standard Y with the claws.
Yeah,
it's just not
exactly.
something you're going to see a person use unless they're doing something specific or trying to do something different.
Here, I feel you're gonna laugh. Look at this. Look at this.
Or did they just chill?
Yeah, look. UT. I did not kill a single one of them.
Oh my dude, that video, that's all you need to show, isn't it? Working as intended, Ninja Gaiden 2.
Oh my god. Did not kill a single one of them.
And people say there's no problems with this game. What the fuck?
No, it's perfect, bro. I mean, come on.
It is perfect. I'm wrong. I'm
It
just
hit the
delusional
geometry there, and it was like the geometry took all the damage. It's
See, what Rio didn't
I
realize is
changed the
that-
costume there for you. You see?
fool. I did, yeah. And you picked a good one.
I love
If you were
this
trying to get in
one.
my good books, you picked a very good one for it.
So, this fight, really annoying, really annoying. And what you bank on at that point is getting the D-limb on those guys. That's what
Yeah.
you bank on. Because what's the best weapon to kill them if not for the sight? You can go with the Lunar. It has a good D-limb. But the
Tom
best...
Fizz are also good as well.
Yeah, exactly.
From
The
my
best
memory.
weapon against those guys is
don't
the
have
Tom
it.
Fuzz. But we don't have it, so yeah. And we're getting them in this chapter, I think.
Yes, this chapter is
this
the Tom Fuzz chapter.
Yeah, the Tom Fuzz. So Tom Fuzz also, it's a weapon. I think it's pretty overlooked by a lot of people, and against a lot of enemy, not only mechanical but humanoid also, like the ninjas. It's insane.
Yeah, it's great against the ninjas. It's also great in short environments and close spaces. The problem with the Tomphas is they are a little bit slow. They do have the tendency to miss their obliteration techniques, and as far as its movesets go, it's not as obvious as to what the strong moves are and what you want to be doing with it as something like the Dragon Sword. So it's definitely a more high-level weapon, even though players of any level can get a lot of really effectiveness from them by doing a handful of things.
Yes.
And if you're wondering what those things are, Garland drop, motherfucking Garland drop.
So there you go. You have that combo.
The single greatest move in this
Oh,
game.
wait, look at that. Look at that. Okay, look at this. I did not plan that. Look what I'm doing right here. Okay, you will like it. Okay, wait.
Damn!
Look.
Raining blood. Oh!
But it kills them first shot, and it's something that I did not do on purpose for real.
So
It's
you
not,
could bait them into
you
that
could
wall
bait
and get
them
one
into
hit
that
kills
wall
on the
and
lasers.
get one hit kill from a guy fucking Joe, or push them far enough. I mean, it's either way.
Why is there not more instances of hazards like that? These are the people that made Dead or Alive where every wall rapes your mouth.
So you see, I don't know, man. That would have been kind of cool if there was
Sick.
some environment, damage
Yeah.
that at some point you could have used to your advantage. And the other thing is,
Definitely.
as far as I know, these things damage you when you hit them, and I think they even kill you in one shot. So that's it. Makes sense that it would kill the enemy this fast,
A360Y. I wonder what the name of that particular UT is called.
I don't know. I haven't checked
Because
a
did you
lot
know,
of the names.
we say Gleaming Blade a lot, don't we, to describe the 360Y, because it's just easy and everybody understands. But I think technically, every level of charge becomes a different move with a different name.
Yeah, it does. And here, using the angle trick again, fighting against those awesome rocket. But these are the most fair rocket, in my opinion.
Definitely.
The multi-rocket, not so much. But these single rocket guys, they're all right in my book, you know.
There's a multi-rocket? I thought it was now the frame rate's in the teens rocket.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Only,
this one is not
so
that
much
bad.
on this console, yeah.
But yeah, but on the 360 version, I
Dude,
can
you
understand.
should pick up a coffee or the original version and do like a warrior run.
And
just
I would
to see
see
the
that.
frame rate.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It really is a different game, and have we talked about that yet? The theory that we have?
Well, we talked a little bit about it actually in chapter 4 of the game maybe probably being a little harder, but we cannot confirm for 100%.
Because I would love people who have a lot of experience with the emulated version of Ninja Gaiden 2, either playing it on an X, on an S, whichever one is the case. If anybody feels like they notice a difference, because game speed is a big thing. And we know for certain that Ninja Gaiden Black plays differently in some very acute regards on emulation. And I'd love to understand if there's any other instances of where this game is different, because as you've mentioned from playing, there's certain moments where your gameplay compared to the other no damage run looks like a different game.
It does. Even one thing that I noticed more, but it's from...
But in his defense, before you continue, sorry.
Go ahead.
We don't see his fails as well. We only see his successes.
Yeah.
And when you watch successful runs of Ninja Gaiden,
it always looks easy.
It's a bloody dreamboat, isn't it?
Yeah, it always looks easy. But on thing that I feel is most or more noticeable, I would say, is with the projectile. That's one thing that I say usually is affected by the speed of the game, is that the amount of projectile that they throw, if for example they throw it, we'll say at a fraction of second faster, it makes a difference with the animation in the long run, so you get spam like way more than someone else would, for example, on another console or something.
I wonder if it affects the refresh rate for when they can spam it as well, so
Yes.
maybe they're able to do it at a more higher frequency.
You see how I
I
almost
wouldn't be
got hit by that
surprised.
guy, the rocket?
Yeah.
It's close. And here, there's a Fiend challenge inside one of those two rooms, but it was a terrible combination again, like the majority of the
Every
Fiend
single
challenge.
one in this game.
Yeah, in this game. But there's some, like the first one that I did not too
Ooh,
bad. Did not
the
deal him.
bitch kick.
That's surprising, eh?
That was cool. It's in that room, isn't it? Through there, right?
It's the one behind, yeah. The one behind, but I don't even open it yet. It's in that room there. The one though that I did in chapter 4, was fair. It's annoying. It's long with the bones, but it's not too bad. One that's also not that bad is that mechanical enemies that have like 4 legs and it look like a puppet.
Yeah.
Well,
the strange like spider women marionettes.
Yeah, exactly that. Basically, this with Golden Van Gelf was really annoying, but not too bad. I didn't do it, but it's because it's a talisman of rebirth,
Yeah.
If not, I would have done it. If it was a spirit of the devil, a jewel of the demon seal, anything worthwhile,
Yeah.
I would have done it. And here,
It always reminds me of Rhyme when I think of those enemies, because I think in his walkthrough back in the day, he recommended that you use the windmill shuriken against them because it wrecks them.
yeah, it's really good. It's still very good. And here, if you're wondering why the Nimpo used suddenly, and also I get a Nimpo drop here, but you know what happened?
That was lucky.
When I do that, you know what happened? It's because there's something behind.
In this box,
Yes.
there are fiend rich piano bats.
And you see how much Nimpo that was? I could have used more. So that fight went perfectly. You can use a good bit of Nimpo. Well, keep the chest for after, and that's it. You're
Here we
good to go.
boys. Apotheosis achieved.
Right now.
Oh,
Originating
yeah.
from Okinawa. There it
Why
goes.
is that not in Ninja Gaiden 3? Of all the things they did to make me hate my life, that was a big one.
By the way, there's one thing I want to mention here because it's really funny that I actually kept it on video. When you lower down here, there's some
Can you
enemy,
snipe them?
and I thought I wanted to try that, but no, they spawn after you go down.
cheeky.
You see, and it's funny because it end up, as usual. When I told you I do these tests, it end up being the try that I succeed for some reason. Don't ask me why. It's always
Sod's Law.
It's always this. And there, I killed 3 of them in a row. There's 3 in here. I kill all 3 of them in here.
Dude, the scythe is so strong.
That was like freaking insane. In here, we have turret enemy. We have to be careful. We can use the angle trick, of course, no problem.
I actually kind of like these enemies because they remind me of old school like games where they have turrets and things that you blow up. Like, you know, have you ever played Metal Slug games?
It rings a bell, but I can't say that I recall
Yeah.
because it's probably too far in. But they had some turrets.
Side-scrolling two-dimensional shooters, and a vehicle will pull up like a big tank, and it'll start shooting at you, and you can blow up the guns that are shooting at you, and then it'll move to the next phase. And it just reminds me of that classic kind of old-school arcade action moment.
Yeah,
and
that's
Vanquish was the
nice.
same, you know, you could shoot the turrets on the tank and things.
Yeah, and the turret
little-
also
little
on top
touches.
at that point.
Yeah, get rid of his big boy turret.
Yeah. With the what did they call it? The Creon, I think, if I recall.
Dude, I don't remember any names from that game.
Well,
except
there was
three.
there was a vessel I think that had turret, and they called it like the Creon, and I think that's what it was called. It was with the
I love touches like that where you can just take away a tool and break some environments.
And you see here, because they all got D-limb, but they're all down. I took that to my advantage, basically, to snipe them all after, you know. They were not moving, weirdly. They were not moving. Here, going back for a Devil Away Mushroom. If you see me backtracking like this when I'm missing one Nimpo, you know it's for a reason.
Now you know why, yeah. Here's a question for you, bud.
Go ahead.
Which do you prefer, the grains or the elixirs? Aesthetically, which is best?
You mean
Because
just
this
for
is
the
a
look?
really... Well, it's like a personal thing, this. I've listened to a few different players who play both games, and there seems to be a leaning towards one over the other, and I've always wondered what yours was. I mean, it's probably quite obvious because you play more black than you do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wait, Chris, what is an elixir? I never used that. Am I right?
I know. Well, basically, right, if you play this game called Ninja Gaiden, when you don't play perfectly and be all sexy and amazing and live in Canada, you get beat up by every enemy that's there because they're all really evil and very mean. And then when you want to live because you're getting your ass kicked, you go into the menu and use these rather fetching-looking glasses that you take a swig on, and they bring back that blue bar that you've never seen decrease.
But on a serious note, though, without going towards a personal favorite, I would say that the elixir looked better still.
Yeah, I would say that too. And everyone says that. I've never heard anybody say grains. Not once.
And if you would go with the compare of the Devil Way Shroom or Devil Way Elixir, that kind of seemed like those little box, you know?
Yeah.
What would you say? Which one you prefer?
Well, I think it's the same again because it fits with the aesthetic. Nice side
That was
throw,
not
anyway.
that was not done on purpose, by the way. It was
I love that move
not
too.
done on purpose. It actually surprised me when I did that. I was like, oh yeah, I did that in my run. Nice. So,
That move is amazing.
oh, I love to do that too.
And they took it out of Razor's Edge and Ninja Gaiden 3.
Actually, you know what? Here, I wasn't even placed properly, and I could have got hit. That was really stupid of me.
Well, they took one of the side throws out. I forget which one it is, but I remember being
The
sad
side
about
throw
that.
is really satisfying. Even if
It might be the one in the... Because you can do a standard combo one where you do a couple of inputs and then he throws it and it comes back, but I don't think you can do the wall one.
Okay. The
And
one
if
where
you-
you jump on the wall and actually, like I just did there, basically.
Yeah, the
before.
one you just did. It's
Yeah,
such
yeah.
a sick move.
It is.
More turrets.
So after that section here, we're already at the Genshin fight, and that, you know what, I don't really like this, and you can tell me what's your thought on.
Okay.
Do you prefer the concept of NGB where it would go like, okay, you're a master ninja, you get enemy with the boss,
You're
but
talking
then
about when the enemies spawn in.
yes, the wave quarter, you know, like 1/4, half health, 3/4, and then you got a wave that's one. And in this one here, they throw enemy at you until they ran out of
Until they
enemy.
stop.
You haven't took out a single amount of health from the boss. So I don't know. What's your take on that?
So here's an interesting diversion then. So I know you prefer the incremental one because it enables you to control the fight and control the score and things, and you know when the enemies are going to come, and it gives it a level of consistency that you appreciate. I hate enemies with bosses. I fundamentally think that if a boss needs enemies with it, you've badly designed it. It's not good enough. And Ninja Gaiden is the ultimate criminal for this because they love doing it. And
Yes.
it's not that the bosses are necessarily bad or can't defend themselves. It's just this game wants to kill you repeatedly in the mouth.
Yes. They do.
I like the way Ninja Gaiden 2 does this because I can focus on getting rid of all the enemies, ignore the boss, and then once that's done, I can focus on him and I don't ever have to worry about any more turning up. But I also understand why you like it the way you like it.
Yeah, well, it's for what you say. I feel like knowing, okay, there's 3 enemies that gonna spawn at like a hell quarter. And did you see her the Nimpo drop, by the way? Sometimes.
Yeah, look at that double Nimpo. That's rare.
It's really rare, and sometimes the game just works for you. But compared to, I think it's that chapter 4 beginning where you said if someone would ask you, did you manage to do that fight because of the Nimpo drop? That one I would say yes, but not this one here. This one is just pure luck, and I mean, there's a lot of instances where my Nimpo drop was not as good, and I actually did the fight. And you remember, I told you about this section. If you don't recall, I was really fucking stubborn of redoing it until I got Genshin and the Armadillo after in one shot. It was really stupid of me because I actually managed to do Genshin before. And then I totally forgot about the Armadillo, so I get on the fight and I got hit the first time around, and I'm like, I don't like that, So after that, I'm like, okay, you know what? We're redoing Genshin, and we're trying to do the Armadillo in one go. And like, luckily enough, I told myself, you know what? If I do Genshin and I fuck up the Armadillo another time, I'm gonna leave it be, and I'm just gonna, keep the run. But I actually managed to did it in one go, and it was like really, really satisfying actually. So to go back to the ways to fight Genshin, I used the Kusarigama, and I think it's one of the most reliable weapon for no damage. There's those few instances where if your hit don't connect, it can put you in a crappy situation. But a lot of time, I prefer it over the claws, which tends to have longer recovery. So if Genshin, for example, decide to do, his quick dodge and then go into his quick charge, it's a lot easier to get hit. So I feel with this weapon, overall, you get the best, well, not necessarily high frame, but you get the best pattern, in my opinion, that's reliable for a no damage.
Are we getting the stun lock?
Yes.
I love this. I just love the bar. One of the greatest things about Ninja Gaiden 2, in my opinion, is that you can take that much off a boss on the hardest difficulty with that many hits. I will never not love the damage in this game.
And what's awesome also is that this boss, if you don't fight him with that, is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Yeah. And now that's also another thing. I'm sure people thought back then that you had to dodge that, but you could not just block it, and that would be it. That's one thing that is the most hilarious thing, I think, in this game. That huge of an attack.
I died to that the first time.
Same. I don't know anyone who hasn't died the first time on that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed Chapter 7. I'm going to let Mr. Seraphim conclude. That will be it for me.
Yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. Another great chapter going down there. This run is literally something else, and just you wait till we get to Chapter 11, because we're slowly building towards one of the most brutal things that you're probably going to watch all year. So thank you so much for being with us, and you take care now.